What's up, Internet? You're tuned into episode 101 of the PotsCast. I'm your host, Pete Messi, joined, as always, by my very good friend, Mr. Stephen Radford.
Hello.
What's up, man? Welcome back. We made it.
Yeah, we made it through episode 100. We're now into our second, I don't know what you call it, century?
Era?
Era? Yeah,
right,
we're through the pixel part era. We're past the DJ zone, and now we're into what I don't know.
I don't know. It's like we're like a like a young divorcee, like getting back on their feet. You know, it's like we're single and ready to mingle.
Heading out to the bar for the first time.
So if this is your first time joining us, welcome back to the PotsCast, LootPots.com's weekly Nintendo podcast where Steve and I get together and talk about everything going on in the world of Nintendo, what we're playing, and answer questions from listeners like you. If you want to be a part of the show, of course, remember, you can write into us by hitting me up at pete@lootpots.com, going and joining our Discord, and hitting up our PotsCast channel where we've always got, questions coming into the show. And, of course, you can also hit us up in our weekly Twitter thread where we go over at LootPots and tweet it out, ask for your questions, get them right on the air if they're cool. But, if you want to get some more content from us, of course, there are a ton of other places you can do that. We are brand newly here on YouTube, the PotsCast. We've got our own channel. It is small. So we would really appreciate it if you'd head over there and give us your subscription. If you listen to the show, if you've been listening to the show as an audio product and you have no intention of going and watching it as a video, totally understand. You're going to miss my cool Tom Nook shirt on this episode, but, hey, I get it. You want to just hear our lovely voices and not see our so lovely faces. I get it. But it would still be really great if you could head over there, give us a subscribe, and hit like on the latest episode. Go on the first one, give it a view, and help us out, help us grow, help new people check out the show, and keep it rolling, keep it growing. If you want to help the show grow, of course, you can head over to patreon.com/lootpots, and for just $1, you'll get access to our Patreon exclusive show After Dark, where we keep the mics rolling for another hour or so and talk about other things than Nintendo. This week, probably mostly about Thanksgiving and how I cooked an entire Thanksgiving dinner with my fiance Sarah for the first time. And just spoiler alert, I fucking nailed it. So you're going to want to hear that conversation. And, we're going to talk about what we got on Black Friday, all kinds of good stuff. So if you want to be a part of that conversation, get a little bit of extra show in your feed every week, and help us keep the mics on, no better way to do so. So we hope you'll head over there and show your support. All right, it's enough shilling for now. Let's hop into what we're playing this week. I've been playing a ton of games. It's mostly games I talked about last week, and I just am kind of rapping on them. So why don't you start, Steve, because you played some new stuff. Watch Dogs Legion, one of the hot new games this fall. What do you think of it?
Yeah. So I picked this up in the Black Friday sale. For some reason, it's already discounted. Well, not for some reason. I can understand why it's already discounted.
The shade begins.
35 quid. So I bought this because I really wanted to try a game that had ray tracing. Obviously, you've experienced it with Spider-Man already. But I kind of wanted to see what all the hype was about. And I'll be honest, I really am enjoying this game. I love the concept of it, the fact that you can essentially approach anyone and then play as that person. You really can do that. It does seem to pull off what it aims to do.
How's that whole no main character thing working for you?
I quite like it. I mean, yeah, there's no main character, but there's still people driving you. There's still like a head of DedSec, which is the organization you're working for. So there is still a story, and it's quite nice being able to switch from characters. So each character has their own kind of backstory and trait. So there's a corporation, for example, called Albion in the game, who essentially have taken over the police. They're like a military for hire kind of system, and you can recruit one of the Albion guards if you manage to do a mission for them, and then you gain access to their uniform. So it very much feels like, I don't know if you played any of the Hitman games, when you can take out one of the people or knock them out and then put their uniform on. Yeah, and then you kind of walk a little bit slower, kind of like Hitman does. And you can go around the area, and you have to try and avoid being caught by the people, because if they catch you, then you end up in combat. But it is a system that really works. So I've got a guy that's a member of, I was a former member of Albion. I've got a construction worker who can go into construction sites. I've also managed to get a paramedic on my side. So if one of my people gets injured,
that's cool.
The paramedic will instantly kind of get them out of the situation. But the paramedic can also enter hospitals and places like that. So it really does pull that side of things off. Where I have the issues is in the kind of buggy QA issues that there really are in this game. Sometimes the lighting the system's just broken. Everything's flashing. It looks like it can't quite figure out what to do. And I'm presuming that's related to the ray tracing, in that it doesn't know whether it should be like shining rays on this surface or another surface, and it essentially looks like it's turning a light on and off constantly. I posted a video over on my Twitter if you want to go check out what I'm talking about. And there was also a mission I was doing where I approached the edge of this building, and there's a pool of water down below, and he goes to like dive in the water. And it plays like this eagle sound effect from Assassin's Creed. And it 100% sounds like when you jump off the top of one of the landmarks, like you fast travel to a landmark. Yeah, 100%. They've just essentially taken that same mechanic, the same animation, and then when he splashed in the water, there was no physics from the water. It didn't make a splash. It made a splash sound. He just essentially went through the surface, but there was no reaction from the water whatsoever. And so it really did feel like, oh, nobody's tested this section of the game. This feels like they've copied and pasted it from Assassin's Creed, left even the eagle sound effect, which was so out of place in the center of London. It really made no sense whatsoever, and just left it as it was. And then the biggest problem I have at the moment is one of the missions, the 404 mission on Xbox. I can't play it because I've played it once and it didn't save my progress. And I went back to the game and I had to start the mission all over again. I lost like an hour of playtime. And if I play that mission, from then on, it will not save. It will not save the game at all. It's completely broken. Ubisoft have acknowledged that they found the problem, and a bug fix is apparently coming mid-December. But they've just released a patch for the game that didn't include a fix for it. And it's so infuriating that they've released this game, they've put it on sale, they're promoting it on the Xbox store, and it's broken. People cannot finish this game. It's a completely game-breaking bug that forces you to stop playing it as intended. I can't do that mission. I can't go down that arc of story. So at the moment, I'm just doing like side missions.
I'm just waiting.
But until that's fixed, until that's fixed, I'm kind of just like, I'm not going to bother. So I've gone off and I've started playing some other stuff because it's ridiculous.
Damn. So speaking of other stuff you've been playing, one of the games on your list is something you've been talking about going back to for quite a bit since you got your Series X, which is Fallout 4.
Yeah, so you know how they released that video prior to the Xbox Series X release, that it was coming out and it's going to be in 60 frames a second and it looked really, really great. That patch isn't available yet. It's my understanding from seeing some people talking about it on Twitter. I think one of the execs at Microsoft was tweeting that it's coming soon. We're aiming to get it done by the end of the year. So I'm looking forward to playing it in 60 frames a second. But having played it, I only started it yesterday. But even in that short period of time, the SSD really fundamentally changes how you play this game. Previously, you would be kind of wary of going into a building that you knew wasn't the correct building that you had to go into just to explore, because you knew, I'm going to have a massive load time to go into that building. I'm going to have a massive load time to come out of that building. If I go into a different settlement or I want to fast travel somewhere, all of those came with like minute plus long load times on Xbox or on PS4. Whereas on Series X and I presume PS5, with the backwards compatibility, those load times are just gone. It gives you the flexibility to go and explore a lot more, which I think a game like Fallout really benefits from.
Absolutely.
You want to explore the whole area, go and gather all the materials and resources that you need in order to improve your settlement and improve your guns and things like that. So I'm enjoying it. I'm probably going to persist with it until Cyberpunk comes out in a couple of weeks' time. And then at that point, I'm going to probably shift onto that. Or if Watch Dogs miraculously gets patched this week, I'll probably jump back onto that one.
And then the last game you had on your list was Little Stardew Valley.
Yeah, so Macaulay got this.
Reliable.
Yeah, well, it is an unreliable. But Macaulay picked this up earlier this year after kind of getting the money's worth with Animal Crossing. But we never really played it. I think we got distracted by something else, or maybe the lockdown ended. I'm not sure what happened. But we're back in essentially for lockdown again. We've started playing this together for the first time. So we started a whole brand new farm. I've moved into the farm. We're working on it together. We're like progressing it and doing it how we want. And I forgot how fun this game can be playing with another person. So previously on Switch, the only real person I've ever played it with was my friend Tim, and we played it remotely. So it wasn't really like we were in the same. Well, we weren't in the same room, and it's very different. Whereas when you're in the same room, you can just go, oh, I'm going to go fishing, or oh, I'm going to pop to the shop and I'll buy some more seeds and stuff. And you can really like plan it out a lot better with the person you're in the room with, and it's really fun. Like I remember playing this with my ex back on we were on PC, and this was before multiplayer even came to the game, and we were just like both staying up late and progressing the game forwards, and being able to do that with your partner but on the same farm together is really, really fun. And I wholeheartedly recommend this to anyone who's kind of got their money's worth with Animal Crossing. They're done with that game for the time being, which I get, because I burnt myself out on that one big time earlier this year. To go and check out Stardew Valley if you haven't already, because I do think it will be a game that you can kind of really get your hooks into.
Nice. Yeah, I've never really done the multiplayer thing, and I wish I had. Like by the time that update came, I think like my interest in it waned a little bit, and I'm in that awkward spot where going back to my existing file always feels like, oh, what was I doing? And then it's like, do I really want to start over though? You know, I think if I were to start over with Sarah, maybe, I think I would probably get back into it, but I don't know that she would, because she played the hell out of that game. Like she's done like everything, you know? So like, I don't know how much I could get her back into it at this point, but who knows?
I mean, there's new stuff. They've added new farm types. There's new story arcs. There's new things, like I spoke previously a few months back when they added like the ability to dye clothes and do things like that.
Yeah.
There is new stuff there that might interest her. But the problem with Stardew, as well as the problem with, say, Animal Crossing New Horizons, is there's so much at the beginning you need to do before you can get to that stage that it's kind of daunting.
Yeah.
Like I forgot that you don't even start with the fishing rod. You don't get that till like day 4. And then you can't go down to the cave until month 2. There's so much you can't do right at the beginning. And like the community center, for example, that doesn't get unlocked until you randomly encounter the mayor, who tells you about the community center. And if anyone joins Jojo Mart for the millionth time, then he's going to close down the community center and he's just going to let them rent it out. And it's great when you first play it, but when you've played it like 2-3 times, which I'm sure Sarah has at this point,
yeah,
it can be like, oh, really again? I've got to start this all from scratch.
Yeah. Speaking of games that I played over, I platinumed Miles Morales finally last night.
How did you do that? Did you use the activity cards? So I saw people talking about the PS5's like activities that made it really, really easy for them to go and get all the trophies that they needed in order to platinum the game. Did you take advantage of that at all?
I didn't really in Miles, just because of the way that it played out for me. Like when I played my first run through, I 100%ed like all of the content, you know, like I did every one of the side quests. I got all the collectibles, and, you know, in the span of doing that, I got like 90% of the trophies, you know, and then when I went in for my New Game Plus, it was mostly just like, I had to get the New Game Plus, first of all, which was the biggest thing. But I had a few that were left over, like I was actually talking about this with Asobi from the Discord, where like I had like the like ceiling takedown and wall takedown, like do 25 of those, like certain abilities that I just don't really use or didn't really take advantage of, and that I needed to close out. And then like there's like one event that happens at the beginning of the game that if you're riding the supervillain Rhino and you're going through a mall, and if you hit stuff, you take damage, so you're kind of incentivized to dodge things. So, but there's a trophy for breaking 15 things while you're on his back.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. So like when I, got on him the second time, I just ran straight through and was like, all right, got it, So there's like a few odds and ends for me to pick up, but it was mostly just doing the New Game Plus, which was like, that's never my favorite thing. I really don't like when games make you play the game over for a platinum. That's usually like when I decide I won't get it, But the fact that Miles Morales was so short made it pretty easy to kind of like blaze through it. The one thing that bugged me about it, aside from the fact that they made me do it, was that randomly there are certain cutscenes that you can't skip. So like you can skip most of them, but like there will be certain story specific ones or like, but it's not like only the story specific ones or only the important moments you can't skip, because like I was able to skip through the entire like end of the game, like all of the cutscenes at the end, and I'm like,
it's like a loading thing, like they're using it as like a loading screen, but I can't imagine they would be with how fast that
with the SSD
is.
Like
maybe they did that for the PS4 version and it just translated over and they just left it in.
Maybe, but like that's the only example where that's the case. You know what I mean? Like there's other things.
They took out the fast travel animation and stuff like that.
Right. So it's like, why wouldn't you be able to? That it just is weird. Like it's not, I don't know, and it wasn't such a huge inconvenience where it added like hours to my time or anything like that, but it was like It's like, it reminded me a lot of the feeling of like when you're playing VR and it's really working and then you have a moment where you like you hit the wall, like where you're like, oh, wow, like it really lets me interact with anything. And then you try to pick up a mug and you can't and you're like, oh, right, I'm in a game. You know what I mean? And like and not that me skipping cinematics didn't remind me that I was in a game, but like it was that same kind of like, oh, it's a disruption. Everything's moving so quickly. I'm getting to do everything so fast, and like I have all my abilities, so I know where to go. I know what to do. I'm blazing through this, and then all of a sudden, I got to sit and watch this cutscene that I've seen before, and I don't want to watch again.
Yeah, and then you want to pick your phone up and you just do the doom scroll through Twitter.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what I ended up doing. Or like it was funny. There was this one portion of the game where that's like very, very cutscene heavy, and like you're like walking around as Miles, So like I knew what I had to do and I was kind of just playing with one hand and I had Pokemon Showdown open on my phone and was doing a Pokemon battle while I was waiting to get through to the next part where I could play again. And it's funny because it's stuff that like when you play the game the first time, it's like, oh my God, I'm so invested in this. Like I'm so engrossed in what's happening that like, I didn't mind being out of the suit a little bit. But like when I'm trying to just kind of run through the beats and get to like the the big fights.
Yeah, you were essentially speed running it to get the platinum, right?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. And I didn't touch like any of the side stuff that wasn't relevant to the trophies I needed to clean up. But I did it. It's done. So now I don't know.
What's your view on that game anyway? Like, is it better than Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, I think so. But it's like cheating, Like obviously they have all the learnings of Spider-Man 2018 and like none of the initial development work had to go into it. You're building on actually I watched an interview that Kind of Funny did with a creative director whose name I'm forgetting, but he said that like, we were standing on the shoulders of giants. It's like, yeah, of course it should be better, right? Like it's iterative. But what I like about it is, if you'll recall when we were streaming the night that the PlayStation came out, we played through the opening of Spider-Man 2018, and then we got to that point where you're at his job and you're having to do this little like puzzle, and it's like, yeah. I want to be Spider-Man. Like I want to go swing around the city. Why do I have to do this stuff right now? Like 2018's biggest problem is that stuff is like, oh, you got to go be Peter at his job and do this little puzzle, or like, oh, you got to be Mary Jane and sneak around and like find clues and stuff. And it's like, I don't want to do that stuff. Like I want to play Spider-Man. I want to be Spider-Man. You guys made this amazing system of Spider-Man powers. Like, let me go play in the sandbox, And there's a lot, like, there's none of that really in Miles. There's still collectibles. There's still side missions. There's still things to do that fill out the world that feel, worth doing and fun to do. But you lose a lot of the fat, which.
But do you think like some of that is because Miles's character doesn't have that job? I don't know Miles as a character like I know Peter Parker. Does he have that backstory like Peter does? Because I thought he was like a high school student and he didn't really have any of that shit.
He is, but he's still he's a scientist as well though. Like he's
Okay.
smart and techie. Maybe not like quite as much as Peter is like in that regard. Where like especially in like 2018, like Peter's straight up a scientist and like works for but like Miles is like an inventor in his own right. He's just it seems like maybe like a little bit more age appropriate. But I guess not actually, because now that I'm thinking about it, he takes a piece of technology that he finds from Peter and like hacks it into something else and stuff. But he's also got a friend who's like the nerd in the chair. So like, I guess I don't think of him as doing the technical stuff as much because he has somebody to help him out with that shit. But no, I don't know. I think it's just because like the game's short, so like. I don't feel like there's.
It's like when they cut down a series on Netflix and it's like instead of this 23 episode monolith series, like it's just monstrous, and we've got like one episode in the middle that we really don't need and we didn't know what to do with, and then we just dragged it out to fill in the network said we needed 23 episodes. Yep. They've cut it down to like 12, and it is short and sweet and succinct and hits all the beats that it needs to without stretching it out. That sounds kind of what the comparison might be.
Yeah, and I think it is like that. And the only thing that bugs me about it is I think it does that to its own peril at a certain point. Like, there are characters who are interesting, likable characters that I feel like maybe get shortchanged a little bit because you kind of get to that third act and it's like, all right, we're out of time. Like, we got to resolve. And it sucks because the first and second act feel paced really well, and it feels like you're like, oh, there's real drama here, and like this is going somewhere, and it's it's got heat, and not that it loses the heat, but it's like it fizzles out because it's got to end, because it doesn't have time to go further and do more, and like you can see how over a 20-hour experience versus like a 10-hour experience. They could have done so much more with what they set up because what was there was working so well. And it has me hoping that in, Spider-Man 2, whatever that's called, I'm hoping that rather than the Mary Jane missions and, like, Peter goes to work and, like, that kind of side bullshit that, kind of bogged down 2018 a little bit, I hope that all of that time is spent just with Miles, doing Miles stuff. Because he has his own cast and like set of powers and stuff that's like interesting and cool.
So do they operate both at the same time then? So as your Miles, Peter Parker's also swinging around as Spider-Man?
In this game, no, but like that's the implication of like what the status quo is. Like Miles is basically his like sidekick. He's like his protege, and he's teaching him to be Spider-Man. And then this game,
so he's Robin.
I'm sorry.
He's like Robin, Batman's Robin.
Yeah, it's got that kind of vibe to it. And Peter has to go away. He has to go to Europe with MJ for his job. So he's like, hey, man, like I'm leaving New York in your hands for the first time. Like, you got this. So that's like kind of where this game picks up. And it's like a smaller, more local problem kind of thing.
Oh, it'd be cool if while like the next game you see what Peter gets up to while he's in Europe. Maybe he's like swinging around London instead or Paris or whatever, and he's like got so much shit to do over there. And then it maybe cuts back to Miles like dealing with all the crap that's going on in New York at the same time, and you can kind of switch between the two.
That would be a fun way to give you a different map to play with too. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I loved it. I hope they do more with Miles. I'm sure they will. Whether that's like him getting another 0.5 game after Spider-Man 2 or just like being kind of like the secondary main character of Spider-Man 2, I'm happy either way. Because
I think with how it's been received and how much people seem to like Miles as a character and his like geeky, nerdy charm,
he's hitting right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hope he's in the next main game.
Well, I mean, he definitely will be in it. I guess it's just a matter of like how much. Because like he was a main character in the first game. But either way, I'm excited to see what they do next. They've earned my faith that they're gonna do the right thing. They'll do something that I'm happy with because I loved the first game, loved the DLC for it, and then this, I think was like a solid improvement on that formula. And like the fact that it was like a smaller thing that they churned out,
while also making Ratchet and Clank, which is bonkers to me.
Insomniac's the fucking
yeah.
They're great. They're so good. I really do love them. I love what they do, and I'm really excited for Ratchet and Clank as well. So I'm stoked to see the Spider-Man IP, like a character that means so much to me, like in the hands of a developer that clearly like cares about him and gets it. Like I don't think there's been a better Spider-Man game than these, and I'm excited to think about the fact that like there's probably at least 2-3 more of these to come, and all the little like spin-off side things that hopefully they'll keep doing as well, because they could give me one of these every year and I'd be happy as a pig in shit. So now that I platinumed Miles, I don't know, I've got this gap between me and
Sunset Overdrive, man. You need to get on
yeah,
Sunset
or
Overdrive.
it's like I kind of want to just replay 2018 as well, though. Like I kind of want to play.
Oh, I think you'd already done that. Like you started doing it for on the stream. Like
yeah, no, I
mean,
with
that.
I've only been doing Miles, and then like I played other stuff. Like one of the things I did, I finished Bugsnax this week.
How did you find that game? Because I was listening to Triple Click, and I think it was Kirk or maybe Jason that's finished it, and was talking about how many queer relationships are in this game.
Yeah,
which is bizarre to me. That this is the one game that like seemingly is just so off the fucking chain. We've got like French fries and burgers going womba 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 or whatever everywhere, and then all of a sudden there's like a queer relationship in the minute. Yeah, bunga bunga bunga. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. There's a few, and yeah, I don't know. Like, it's so weird. It's such a weird game, and I totally get being turned off by it, and I don't have a counterpoint to that. I don't know. I got into it, like I played it that first night, and I kind of barreled through the bits in the beginning where I was like, I don't know about this, like, is this really for me? Is this striking a chord? And once I got in that loop of solving the little mini puzzles to catch the different bugs, to find the next section, to get the next person to come back to the, town and build out the settlement and advance the story and solve the mystery and conduct these interviews, like it does a really, really good job, I think, of like, here's a carrot, here's a stick. Here's a carrot, here's a stick. And like pulling you along with giving you just enough new stuff to pique your interest and keep you moving to the next conversation or the next, beat in the mystery without kind of bogging you down in too much stuff to do. Because it's like, there's these side quests that you can do, but you don't have to do them, and like, you could fill out the Pokedex, and like find all the bug snacks, but like you don't have to. And like it's easy to do that side stuff and commit to it and do it at your own pace, or if you want to just keep doing your thing and go like just barrel forward, it's easy to do that too. So like I think the pacing of it made it easy for me to sink into it quickly enough that like the things that I think could turn you off, I got used to quickly. Where it's like, yeah, like some of the bug snacks are annoying. Like some of their voices are annoying. Some of the, them just like saying their names over and over again in these high-pitched.
It's almost like Pokemon.
Sure, but you don't like hear that, like when you're like playing Pokemon. You don't.
Oh, you're like running around the overworld, don't just hear Pikachu,
Pikachu, Pikachu, Pikachu, Pikachu, Pikachu. It's not like that. Like it's the same in principle, but the execution is far, far less.
Yeah, very different.
Annoying. Yeah. So like I was able to get in a rhythm with that stuff and connect with it, and like, and I found things to really like, like I really like the soundtrack, and like I did find a lot of the cast to be charming. The overall art style like felt good, and I don't know, like
So I did not like the art style from what I've seen of it. It just
the characters are weird and creepy, but
yeah.
that's like kind of like it's part of the charm in a weird way. Like it reminds me of like weird 80s movies with like creepy puppet characters, but
Like Gremlins, yeah.
yeah, where it's like it's kind of creepy and eerie, but it's got a weird charm to it because like a lot of the characters are genuinely nice and like
Mhm.
are like fuzzy, and like there is like a lot of
Okay. I can see that. Like, it's a bit. I guess a good comparison better than Gremlins would probably be something like Labyrinth, where you've got all the weird like goblins and characters and like creepy
yeah.
Jim Henson things that are going on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like it has that vibe to me, and like I don't know, like I got in on it, and like it hooked me, and like it's a game that like I wouldn't recommend to everyone. I totally understand if something about it just doesn't strike a chord with you, but like I think if it does, it does. And for me it did. It hit me. And I don't quite know why, but it has a wabi-sabi to it. Like it's very odd. It's very creepy and a little bit sad and like melancholy, but like there is like a sweetness and a softness to it too. And I don't know. That Venn diagram is like right where I live.
if you didn't get this game for free, would you have played it?
Probably not, cuz I was not, I don't know, I was not super in on the pitch. Like I remember when they showed it, we talked about it on the show, I think, and I thought it looked bad. Straight up looked bad. And I don't know, like I don't know that I would have been willing to roll the dice on it and spend the money on it, even though I was kind of morbidly interested in it. But I will
I think you were probably looking at it as like oh yeah, this could be a train wreck, and I want to be involved in that, rather than this game could actually be good.
Yeah.
Previously,
Well, and like part of me thought it could maybe be good.
not from those trailers. It really didn't sell the game at all to me. I just did not understand it at all.
No, it was more that it had a buzz. Like there was a buzz around it, and I was like, so is this gonna be like a dumb meme game? Like Octodad was, or like
it was when people that I respected started talking about how much they were enjoying it.
yeah,
Was when I kind of got interested in
it's
seeing
like
the
okay,
game.
there could be
Yeah,
something
it's like,
here.
oh, maybe that could be good. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's not just a bit, and I think it's not just a bit. Like I was into it, and I don't know, like I having played it for free. I guess it's hard for me to say this and for people to not take it with some kind of grain of salt, but like I would pay for it. If I had known what I would have, like what I ended up getting out of it, had I known that that's what I was going to get out of it, I would have spent the money. Is I guess the point I'm
But that's
trying
the
to make.
same as any game that you get a review code for as well. Like you have to assess it as do I see this as value for money for what they're proposing it
Right.
for? Like I think if I'd have say spent £70 on Watch Dogs, which would be its retail price if it came out on PS5 or Xbox Series X, I'd have been super disappointed with the quality of the game. But spending half that, 35 quid, it's like, okay, yeah, this game's okay. It's not great, but it's fine.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comparison for sure. I've had to do that before. So, yeah, I think it's worth your time. If you like this kind of game, like if you really like Pokemon Snap, I think gameplay wise you'll like this game. If you are into like weird indie storytelling with like, kind of like slight life sim management kind of stuff involved as well. Like I think it's worth checking out. I do.
And you've got like, I think No, you've already missed it, haven't you? By the time this goes out, no, you got 1 day to claim it on PS
PS5.
Plus.
Yeah.
But you can go on the website even if you don't have a PS5 yet. You can go on the website and claim it because
Oh.
you can claim it and it'll be in your collection even if you don't have a PS5 now. But you're planning on getting a PS5, or even if you're not planning on getting a PS5 at some point, you might go claim all the PS Plus games online.
You should do that, Steve.
Claim all the PS Plus games.
No,
I don't have PS Plus, so that's a bit of a problem.
Claim Bug Snacks.
I'd have to get a PS Plus subscription first. I don't play on my PlayStation these days. So
Unbelievable. So I played one other game this week. I finally kicked the tires on Prey, which I've talked about.
Weird, like how you getting on with the weird like mushroom gun thing that like shoots splodges all over
Glue.
the place.
Yeah, I still haven't found that. It's like
haven't you?
No. You're supposed to find it near the beginning of the game. I don't know, man. It's not hitting for me.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm
I
bummed.
don't like it either.
I'm bummed about it because like I love Arkane. And
do you usually like the kind of shock style games though? Like BioShock or
oh yeah, I mean I love BioShock. I loved BioShock and BioShock Infinite. I've never played System Shock or BioShock 2. Like I might have played the beginning of BioShock 2, but I never really played it. But yeah, I don't know. Like it's I think it's weird because it does remind me a lot of BioShock. And I don't know, like I'm not super into the story hasn't really grabbed me much yet. And it had a cool kind of like reveal near the beginning and I was like, "Oh, whoa, that was a really cool trick."
I liked the beginning of it where you wake up in that room, don't you? And there's like that window with like the cool vista that you see and you're like, "Holy shit, this is going to be a really cool universe." And then I think you just end up on a spaceship and it's like, oh, all that cool stuff is gone and I don't get to see it again.
Yeah, you realize that you're just like on a space station, you know, and like and it's like very Metroidvania-y. Jesus. Where like I'm going forward, I'm backtracking,
But that's the same as BioShock and I think System Shock, where same BioShock, for example, you needed to go find the incendiary skill so you could then melt the ice to get through to the area that you saw was like frozen previously.
Right, but what I think works about BioShock for me as a gamer is like there is backtracking, but even the backtracking feels more linear because it's very much like go here and it's like okay, I got to go there. You know,
that and you have a big fat like triangle that's pointing in everywhere to go on BioShock.
Yeah, and I don't know, like for some people that might be like a little archaic, you know, but like I think that's kind of what I'm missing in Prey right now is like I hit a point where I was like I kind of hit a brick wall, you know, like I got somewhere and I was like okay, I know where I need to go, and I see ways to get there. But I feel like I don't have the ability that I need right now. You know, I feel like I don't have X tool that I'm supposed to have right now, but I haven't encountered a way to get it, and I have no clues on where I'm supposed to go next.
So you're just getting a sense of frustration rather than I know what I need to do.
Yeah.
Are you feeling like you're going to reach for a walkthrough at all?
I looked one up.
Not persist with it?
I looked one up and started like trying to figure out where I was and what I was supposed to be doing next. And I was just like, oh, okay, like there's like that gun that you mentioned, the glue gun. I apparently am supposed to have that already. So I was like, I better go back because I guess I didn't look at things enough. I just followed the waypoint and tried to go here. So then I go back and I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to find this glue gun. But then there was this side quest that I had found where it was like, go to the infirmary. And I was like, oh, well, the infirmary's right here. Why don't I check this out?
The glue gun.
Well, and then I go in there and there's this monster that just immediately just murders me. And I'm like, all right, okay, I guess I need to go find this gun. So I'm like, I'm in this point where I'm like, I feel like the signposting is not great, and I feel like lost, and it keeps telling me, it's giving me the same kind of prompt that I get with like Dishonored, right? Where it's like, oh, like this is an Arkane game, so you can do this in a bunch of different ways. You can sneak around, or you can be all out fight, and there's things you can do. And I can't find any alternate routes. Like I keep trying to like climb up on stuff and be like,
but when you get the glue gun thing, you can build stairs with the thing, and you can like jump on all the bits of blobby glue.
So this is clearly the problem I'm running into is I need this damn glue gun.
Yeah, if once you get that, I mean, that was the experience I had with it, and I gave up with it pretty early on. But my ex was big into it once he got that gun, and I remember just watching him, and he would like build stairs and like manage to get around areas and go to different places with that stupid gun.
All right, okay, so maybe I gotta commit to finding this gun, and then I'll keep playing for a little bit and see if I can get past it. Cause like, I don't know, man. Like, I want to be into it, but like. I think where I'm at with it is it's giving me the same like stress and like spookiness of a BioShock, but like I just feel like I said I was playing it last night and I ended up like stopping to go play Miles Morales and finish it. And I remember saying to Sarah, I was like, I feel like I'm blind when I'm playing this game. Like I feel like I'm just wandering around. And I don't quite know where I'm supposed to be going or what I'm supposed to be doing. I have a vague idea. Yeah,
that's surely part of the game design. As you're meant to feel lonely, abandoned. You're on this space station on your own. You have no idea what you're meant to do, and you just have to try and press on. But if it's really, really not clear how the hell you get that gun or how you do a certain task, that's got to be a failing of the level design.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just not in the mood for it.
Possibly, but like, I'm thinking to other games, like we mentioned BioShock, you wouldn't be able to get in an area without that specific tool that you needed. Like, surely in Prey, if you needed that glue gun for other areas, they should have made it so you had to use it to get through to the next area because you'd have looked for that tool in order to get to the next area.
Yeah, that would have been good. And it's weird because, like, the thing I like the most about Arkane is their design, is, like, they really nail level design. And, like, it always feels like, at least in Dishonored, like, I always felt like there were so many ways I could tackle things. And, like, I love the way they build a sandbox and the way they build a world that reacts to you. And I think that's also part of the thing that I'm not liking in this is that, like, and again, it's not like I don't ever like games like this. Like, I liked BioShock, Like, I like games that are lonely and atmospheric. But the fact that it's so lonely, I'm like, there's, like, no one to interact with. Like, there's no systems for me. Like, there's not, like, I don't feel like there's characters for me to, like, sneak behind and, like, fuck
That's
around
how I felt
with
Fallout 76. Like, Fallout 76, when it originally launched and there was no NPCs, it's just like, this is just totally barren.
Yeah.
Like, there's a robot I can talk to, but seriously, where are all the fucking people?
Just feels kind of lonely.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I'm going to try it a little bit more, but I have to say, like, I'm disappointed right now. Like, it's a game that I've waited to play for so long, and I'm like, I'm sure I'll love it. I love Arkane, and it's just like, I don't know. This one's not really doing it for me.
That's a shame.
It makes me really, really just feel like, man, I wish Deathloop was out. Because I want to play an Arkane game, and I'm like, do I want to go back and play Dishonored right now? Like, not really. I could play Dishonored 2.
You have to, even if you enjoy Deathloop, you're not allowed to tell me that it's good. I just want to hear that it's terrible because I can't play it at the moment. So
no, I'm gonna tell you how fucking great it is, and be like, man, I can't believe you're not on PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna taunt me and make me buy a PS5 like you always do. You always force me into buying things.
Whatever. You did that for me this week where I got a brand new TV, which I guess we'll talk about on After Dark. But yeah, so I don't want to hear it. We're even. You almost got me in trouble. All right, so let's jump into the news. We're going to kick things off with a question I'm pulling out of the mail pot. This one comes from Left Eye Lazy, one of our Discord members and one of our Patreon supporters, who says, what games did you pick up for Black Friday week since that shit started on Monday?
Yeah, seriously, why are they even calling it Black Friday at this point? It's been going on for ages in the UK. It started last Monday.
Yeah.
Not this Monday.
It's been going
last Monday. We've had 2 weeks, and we still have like another whole fucking week of this. You might as well just call it Black November at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's basically been going since the beginning of November over here, like off and on. Like when I bought my TV, it was a few days before Black Friday, but it was like a pre-Black Friday deal. But on actual Black Friday, there were a lot of great video game deals. I missed out on one I really wish I could have gotten, which was Walmart had Luigi's Mansion for $30, and I was like, oof.
They had a bunch of Nintendo games
For $30,
didn't they?
yeah. And
Yeah.
I missed out on a couple of them, but I did get a few games. I bought Crash Bandicoot 4. I got that on Xbox for $30, which I thought was a steal. I'd rather play it on PlayStation because it's just like Crash and PlayStation feel synonymous. But for $30, I was like, yeah, sign me up. Play that 4K life. And then I got what is it? Little Hope, the next in the Dark Pictures anthology. Yeah, Man of Medan follow up.
Equal to that.
I got that for $20. So
yeah, I know, and I hope he doesn't watch or listen to this, but I know my sister's got that for my dad for Christmas. So
that's good.
We're probably going to be playing that on Christmas Day.
Yeah, it's funny because I was like, oh, this came out? I was like, huh. Like, I knew it was coming out, but I didn't realize it had already come out, and I was like, that's probably not a good sign. But I looked it up. The reviews were middling. Like, IGN, gave it a 5, because of McDonald. But there was, a lot of mixed stuff. Like, some people seem to like it quite a bit more than Man of Medan, which I thought was fine. So I'm like, for $20, it'll be fun for at least a night. You know, I'm sure I won't be upset that I took the plunge. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, whoops.
What'd you say?
I like those games, even if people, I don't know, didn't like Man of Medan. I didn't think it was as good as Until Dawn,
which it wasn't.
I really, really enjoyed it. No, it wasn't as good as Until Dawn, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good time.
Yeah, same. So I was more interested in this one's elevator pitch. Like the setting and everything seemed a little more interesting.
It's like the Victorian town rather than on the weird haunted boat thing this time.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that seems a little bit more engaging of a setting. So I'm hoping it comes together. I just really want them to recapture the magic of Until Dawn. Like I feel like Supermassive Games came out with such a bang with that game. And then
did you ever play the other one they did on PlayStation, which was with this weird fucking system that Sony was trying to push at the time?
Yeah,
I think it was called PlayLink, and it was so buggy because you had to download this app that crashed all the fucking time. We played the game, we were all so excited to vote on the options and stuff, but then the game itself crashed, and we lost tons of the progress that we'd made, and we were just like, oh, do you know what? It's really not worth progressing with this because it's so buggy. The frame rate was so laggy; it just was not a good experience. And it felt like even Supermassive didn't really want to market the game whatsoever. I didn't really see them talking about it, and it's kind of they just moved on. Because then we're now working on Man of Medan. We're done with these.
Yeah. I don't even remember what that game was called, but I remember being interested in it and then hearing all of what you just said from people who had picked it up, and I was like, all right, maybe not this one. And then when they announced the whole Dark Pictures thing, I was really excited about that because, again, I really liked Until Dawn, and I don't know, I was really excited about the idea of them doing something that was an anthology, so they could kind of get a new setting, new cast of characters, and do something fresh every couple. They were like, oh, we want to ship one of these every 18 months, and I was like, that sounds great if they're good. If they nail this, I'd love a smaller Until Dawn once a year. That's a little bit more affordable, but I don't know. I just feel like they have never gotten even really close to what... Because Until Dawn is great. Until Dawn is so much fun to play.
It is, yeah. Well, they've only really done one true follow-up game to it because it's called Hidden Agenda, by the way, and I don't think you can count that as a sequel to Until Dawn. It doesn't come anywhere close. It's an hour and a half long. It's the length of the movie. It's not long enough at all for what it aims to do. Which I think is a huge problem. We played Man of Medan, I think it was last year or the year before, and we had a great time with it. We all played a different character. You could pass the control around. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. I didn't like it as much as Until Dawn. No, and
that's fair. I mean, and part of that might have just been you preferred Until Dawn's story or setting, or
I think
maybe the game was just technically better.
I think that was part of it, but I think the characters were better written and better performed too. So like, I don't know. I'm still rooting for them. You know, I really want to see them get it together and really knock it out of the park, but we'll see. I don't think I got any other games. I think that was all for me.
And a TV, which is always
Right.
a good deal.
Yeah, like I would definitely lean more into like the stuff on Black Friday this year. Like I got a
Me
new,
too.
I got a new TV. I got a Samsung QLED from the 80Q series, which was Steve's runner-up TV, because for two reasons. One, the real reason, Sarah would not let me get an OLED. They are too much money. But also, as I looked into it, they don't do as well in light rooms was something that I remember you had told me, and I have a huge bay window in my living room.
Yeah, probably
so,
not
like,
the great place for it.
So honestly, like it ended up being the better pick for me. I think getting the QLED anyway.
I think so.
So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be sweet.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have that 120 frames a second. You'll be getting yourself on Call of Duty like DJ.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, can we count them frames?
Killing some zombies, killing some like Richard Nixon and Reagan or whatever.
I'm really looking forward to trying Ori out with the whole. They have the 8K super sampled mode and then the 4K 120 FPS. It's one of the only like 2 games that supports that, so I'm gonna try that out. And then I got like a new entertainment center actually, which is awesome because mine has seen better days. It fits everything, but it's seen better days. So I got a new one of those as well. It's got this nice little top rack, so like it's got a perfect slot for both of my brand new consoles. Put all the games and everything below. Got these nice little barn door sliders. It's gonna be nice.
I need something new. I've got this horrible glass thing that you dust it, and then like 2 seconds later it's dusty again. It's like glossy black glass. It's horrible. Nice. I hate it so much.
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to keep your eyes peeled. I would say, maybe keep your eyes peeled on Black Friday for a deal, but
the problem is like all the furniture shops and stuff are closed here, so it's really difficult.
You can't get anything delivered.
Yeah, that's the only thing is like delivery. But IKEA charges like a fixed 50 quid delivery. It's ridiculous. So if I'm gonna make an IKEA order, it's gonna be a decent.
Yeah, you gotta get a good amount of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like on the hunt for like a table and chairs too. I'm like finally found what I'm looking forward to getting that here, but it's not gonna be here for a while. It's on back order, so. Yeah, I was definitely like shopping for game deals, but I mostly ended up getting like stuff.
The best game deal I saw was Aldi, and I think a few other places ended up matching it. Had the Nintendo Switch for 230, which is
that's a good
60
price.
quid off, 50, 60 quid off. So that was a good one. I think you can still get it in a few places if you have a look around. If you're in the market for one for Christmas for someone, it's worth taking a look. Or I think someone else did. A Switch Lite plus Animal Crossing for 230 as well, which was a fairly decent price if you're looking for just the handheld model.
I think the best deal I saw was the Xbox controllers. They had the new Series X, S, whatever, the new generation of Xbox One controllers for $40.
I'm refusing to buy a new Xbox controller until the Design Lab opens up again because I really just want like a funky looking Design Lab one.
Yeah, I almost bought one of the white ones, but I was like, I don't need 3 Xbox controllers right now. Like, I'm gonna wait until they have a cooler one that I want to get my hands on. Same reason I only have one PlayStation controller is like I usually only get like 2, so like want to save for a nice one,
Yeah, like a Spider-Man edition.
Yeah, Spider-Man one or like a good blue one. I always have a blue one.
Yeah. Now, I've still got just the standard controller, but we had a bunch of Xbox One controllers from the previous generation. So I've got a Minecraft Xbox One. It looks like a creeper, and then underneath the battery compartment, it's got like red dust for the dynamite. It's really, really cool. I really like that controller. And McCullough's got like one of the geometric pattern ones, which looks really cool as well, which I like.
Nice.
And they work. They can just be updated to work with the Xbox Series X, and it has that new low latency mode. All that works. The only thing you miss is the slightly nicer feel and the share button. But in the Black Friday sale, I got my TV, so I got that at like £200 off or something, which was fairly decent. It hasn't gone cheaper anywhere else, which was something I was worried about because I got it a little bit before Black Friday. And then I picked up Watch Dogs. I picked up 2 copies of Watch Dogs. I picked up a physical copy, which I'm giving to someone for Christmas, and I picked up the digital copy for myself. I got Fallout, which was on Black Friday as well. It was like £5 on the
Nice.
Xbox store, and I actually bought the Forza expansion packs. I don't think I spoke about it last week. I think I said
The
I was
Lego
I
one.
was thinking about getting them, and I got the Lego one. They did like a deal at the time. It was like 30 something quid when I was talking about it. They did a deal for like 15 quid. You got absolutely every expansion they do for 15 quid.
Nice.
And I found out, and if you're at all interested in getting people gifts, these sales are still on, I think, until December 2nd. At least the Xbox one is, and so is the eShop one in the in North America and the UK. You can go on the Xbox website and you can gift it, and you can, if you get it, you can email it to the person or you can email it to yourself, and it emails you just a gift code. So you can buy any of these games that are on sale or any of the expansions that are on sale as a gift code, and you can give them for Christmas. So if you're looking for like
Nice.
a good way of getting a cheap game at the moment in Black Friday, there's something that catches your eye, go and get like a digital code, because it's a good way of doing it. We're getting McCullough's brother the Forza pack, who's like one of his presents for Christmas. So
Nice. That's great. Speaking of shops, we've got a PSA for you guys. The eShop sale ends on December 2nd in North America, and on the 3rd for all you European listeners. There are some great games on this. So we're gonna bring it up this way. Any ones that I say are for the North American audience. Any of the ones that Steve say is for the EU audience. So the biggest one that sticks out to me on the American side of things is Link's Awakenings down to $40. Great deal. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you can get for $40. Hades is only $5 off, down to $20, but one of my most recommended games of the year. Definitely worth picking up.
gonna have to get that one, I think.
Yeah. You said you've had your eye on it. I think for $20, like, go for it. You know, you're probably not going to see it go much lower than that anytime soon. Super Mario Party is down to $40. You can get Skyrim for $30. Couple other good ones. Diablo 3, one of Steve's favorites, down to $30. Outer Worlds, $30, although you can probably play that somewhere else, honestly.
I would recommend playing that somewhere else.
Yeah.
It doesn't look so great on the Switch.
Yes, I mean, there's lots of other stuff here that's good. Those are like the big ones that stuck out to me.
Yeah, those are pretty much the same ones we've got. So we've got Link's Awakening, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition down to £33. There's the Elder Scrolls down to $25. Spyro Reignited Trilogy's half price, and so is Crash Team Racing at $17.50.
Crash
and
is
then
$20 here, yeah. Crash Team Racing.
Yeah, Diablo is half price here at $25, which is a great deal. I bought that for like $50 4 weeks ago for Macaulay. So
2 other ones I want to call out. Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, $20. If you've never played Shovel Knight, you're a damn fool. And the Treasure Trove for $20 is a great value. It's a ton of games and a ton of really good stuff worth digging into. And then Coffee Talk is down to $9.74. We loved Coffee Talk here. We did our one and only official Game Club episode on Coffee Talk.
I'm sure it'll come back someday.
Yeah, someday. So check that out. I'm
trying to see if Hades is on sale. I don't think it is in the UK. You know?
Oh no, that's a bummer.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not on sale at all.
And then both Xbox and PlayStation both have their holiday sales going on. Their Black Friday / opening to the holiday season sales are running right now as well. And there's tons of games that are there. I was browsing. There's a ton of great stuff for cheap. Like I called out Dishonored. You can get the Arkane collection, I think, for like $15 or something. You can get both Dishonoreds, I think, for $10. So lots of good stuff. Go take a look. So speaking of Black Friday, our main topic this week is our holiday gift guide. So Steve and I are going to make recommendations for all of the stuff that we think is worth picking up if you're looking for a gift for the gamer in your life. But before that, we do have one last question here, pulling it out of the mail pot. This one comes from another one of our Patreon supporters, Wakahula, who says, are there any games you regret buying? I'm one of the Kickstarter backers for the Wonderful 101 Remastered, and after it getting extremely delayed, I haven't touched it after trying it for a few hours. Great question. So games that you regret buying, I think, like, for me, it's always the games that I bought and then just never played. You know, where it's I've done that so many times where, like, you grab a game on a sale, you know, because you're like, oh, I've heard this is good and I want to try it, and then you just never touch
And you
it.
never end up, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I feel like that's like a cop-out answer because it is so like, well, yeah, you just pissed money away. Great. Of course you regret that.
One that stands out to me though is I bought Bayonetta 2 on Switch when it came out, and it came with the Bayonetta 1. I played maybe like 4 hours of Bayonetta 1, which was a download code.
Yeah.
And I hated it. I really, really did not like that game. So I gave up, and it's been on my shelf ever since. I probably should just sell that game because I'm never ever going to go back to it. I just did not enjoy that whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't know, like it's mostly smaller stuff for me. Like there are times where I take a gamble on a game where I'm like, I don't know that I'll like this, but I'll pick it up. And like I usually don't regret that cuz like I go in with that mentality, but it is stupid. You know, like I remember like I bought like Battlefield, the World War One game that they did a couple years ago.
Battlefield 1, yeah.
Yeah, I bought that cuz like it looked pretty good, and I was like, I don't know, like I've been doing a lot of multiplayer this year. I'm kind of in the mood for something like mindless, like
kind of in the mood to you know, militarize myself and shoot some people.
Yeah, basically. And I started, and I was like, this isn't for me, you know. And I was like, this was a waste.
The only games like that I really ever got into were like Wolfenstein. Or like Call of Duty back in the day, like Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2, I really enjoyed.
Sure.
But man, yeah, those aren't for me.
No.
I like conscientiously object to those games at this point because it glamorizes war, and I just don't want to play them.
Yeah, I don't know. That's probably it. It's like stuff like that. Like it's like the odd indie game that I picked up and never touched, or like the random big AAA thing that I knew I wasn't really interested in, but was like, fuck it. It's like Monster Hunter World was like that, but I had some fun with it. So it's like, whatever. That's fine. I don't regret having that experience.
Do you know, most of the time it's not a game I bought, it's DLC. And like we spoke about this last week,
sure,
I just don't go back. It just never happens. You know, like I bought that Horizon Frozen, whatever it
Wilds,
is.
yeah.
And I've never played it because I tried and I'm just like, no, I can't remember how to play this game.
I think I'm like really, really on the fence of if maybe I'll replay Horizon right now.
No, you know they're going to do like a remaster along with the sequel for PS5.
But like, why bother? Like they patched it already, so like PS5 has it's enhanced for PS5. It's got 60 FPS and all that shit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I didn't think they were doing that. Okay.
I think they did already. So like, I'm kind of like, well, fuck it, right? Like I might as well.
Yeah, if it looks better and it runs at 60 and you're itching for it. The problem is like you've just got so many games you're speaking about wanting to get into.
But the thing is like I just need something. I need something for the next 10 days. You know, like I need something to cover my ass until Cyberpunk, and then that's it. And I'm like, I could probably beat Horizon in that amount of time if I don't do all the side stuff.
Yeah, save up all your money, get the fast travel packs, like the infinite fast travel pack straight away. All that. Just min-max that.
I'm looking it up right now if it plays at 60 FPS on PS5.
I didn't think they'd patched any PS4 games to take advantage of stuff. Like, I didn't think they could unless they made a PS5 version. Because that was one of the things they were talking about, that Rocket League, for example, plays at like 4K 60 on Xbox because it was a quick 2-minute recompile, put it back up on the store, and it's now an Xbox Series X game, whereas they would have to remake it entirely for PS5.
I don't know. It says... I don't know. It looks like it might be. We'll see. I'm going to figure it out. Off mic. All right, yeah, so let's jump into our main topic. Let's talk about our holiday gift guide. So I think we'll kick things off, of course, with consoles. That is like the shiny new toy. Everybody wants to get the hot new console, and they're real tough to get right now. I think, obviously, if you can get your hands on a PS5, I think that's the thing to beat this holiday, because, I mean, if you don't have a Switch, get a Switch. right? Like, there's so many games you can get. You can get a good bundle. It's probably a lot easier to get your hands on one right now. That's a slam dunk. I think if you're not already a Switch owner, I can't imagine you're listening to this show, though. But if you've got someone in your life who you think might like the Switch and doesn't have one, couldn't recommend it more highly as, like, a great, especially for someone who's, like, casual and, like, teetering into playing games. Like, there's so much that you can throw at them that I think will help dip their toe in and really get them invested. But, like...
Yeah, Animal Crossing's like a gateway drug into video games.
Yeah. And, like, Breath of the Wild, for that matter, is really good for that.
See, I think if you're new to video games, Breath of the Wild is the wrong game to start with, because that learning curve is like, bam, this game is fucking ridiculously hard and all my weapons are breaking every 2 seconds.
That's fair.
And then it just like falls off a cliff when you get decent weapons and you realize that you can just swap. So I think you need to be confident with the controller before you can really play that game, because there is that stress level of, oh my god, my weapon's just broken, I need to quickly switch to another one. What do I do? Because I remember trying to introduce Macaulay to that and it just did not end well.
That's fair, yeah. But yeah, I think, like, if you can get your hands on a PlayStation 5, I don't think that there's, like, a more exciting thing.
Yeah. And do you know that they're continuously coming into stock? So I would recommend, if you're looking for one in the UK, head over to a website called stockinformer.co.uk. You can sign up for notifications. If you have Telegram on your phone, or even if you don't, I would recommend downloading Telegram on your phone. It will send you a push notification as soon as it tracks that there's stock in. So it's constantly pinging these websites and seeing that there's stock in. It's how I managed to get one for my sister. It sent me a notification. I clicked the link straight away. But also sign up on all the websites it works and tracks across. So sign up for like an Amazon account, an Argos account, a Currys, John Lewis Very. Sign up for all those accounts, so when it does come back in stock, you're ready and you don't have to put your card details in and your address in, and you can just click checkout buy. That's the best chance you are going to have of getting a PS5 or an Xbox Series X this Christmas, I think.
Yeah.
If you're prepared and ready.
I'd also definitely recommend, if you don't already, following Wario64 on Twitter and turning on tweet notifications, so that whenever he tweets, you get a push notification, because I've gotten a lot of stuff that way. Like, that's how I got my Xbox. That's how I got all of the Nintendo mini consoles. Like, he's the dude. So between those two solutions, that's probably going to be your best bet. But you're also looking at a real uphill battle at this point, because, like, Jim Ryan has said they've sold out. So whatever is showing up now is, like, it's the last trickle. I think. I don't think we're going to see a lot more on shelves before the holidays. So, like, if you've been on the fence, but you really, you want one, or you got a kid or something or whatever, like, if you're not actively looking for one, you're not going to get one. So eyes up.
Yeah, and please do not buy one from a scalper. If I get that people want them, but don't pay like £200 or $200 over the odds to get one of these consoles. It's not worth it. After the Christmas period, they'll be back in stock fairly regularly. They're going to constantly make these. You're going to get one eventually. Just please don't give your money to a scumbag who's decided to just buy up all the stock with the robot and then sell it on for a profit.
I also just don't think it's worth it, frankly. Like, I love these consoles. They're not worth spending PC money to get them, on the black market.
Especially considering the exclusives that are out at the moment. There's only really one true exclusive, which is Demon's Souls on PS5. And I would say, unless you're really, really wanting to play that immediately, it's not worth it. And even that's like a remake of an old game.
Just wait. Just wait.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be able to, it'll be just as fun to play when you get your hands on one 2021. The only other thing we wanted to call out on the console side of things was, this is like a little bit more of like a good stocking stuffer, I think. But the Game & Watch, and for you YouTube viewers, you can see the Game & Watch handheld that just came out recently. Still available. Getting increasingly tough to track one of these down, but I was able to grab one on Target's website, and you can still pick them up at a number of Targets. It seems like they got one of the bigger supplies, but they are tougher to find on a lot of online retailers already. So
And extremely hackable, it seems.
yeah. From what I've seen, you can pretty much hack any emulator onto this thing. It seems, which is pretty cool. I haven't pulled mine out of the box yet. I definitely am interested to pull it out and play with it, but I've just been a little preoccupied with other games and stuff lately, so it's just kind of sitting on my desk right now, being pretty. But I think I'm like low key considering keeping it out of the box more often than not, like putting the box up on a shelf and like actually using it as a clock because it does have that function.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, actually give it its purpose. Because I don't think it's going to be particularly valuable in keeping it in the box, is it?
No, not really. So that's kind of what I was thinking. I thought it might be a cute because I don't have a desk clock, so like, why not, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. Gonna get that set up one of these days. But it's super cute. Like that's something that I as a fan of games, as a gamer, like I would love to receive. You know, so I think if you've got like a Nintendo fan in your life who isn't the type of nerd to go seek that thing out themselves, I think it's a gift that they'd probably really appreciate.
Yeah, it's one of those something you enjoy but wouldn't necessarily buy for yourself kind of things, because it is an additional expense of something you probably will get a little bit of fun out but not massively play a lot of.
Yeah, which to me is like, I think those are some of the best gifts or stuff like that, you know? Like this like Tom Nook shirt is a great example that I'm wearing for this very special deals episode. This was a gift from my friend Laura Brown. Shout out to Laura. And it's like I wouldn't go out of my way to buy this for myself, but having it, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. You know, like I love it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the kind of gift that you wanna hit, I think. So definitely recommend that one as well. And I would say, like, you know, we didn't call it out here, but I love the Xbox Series X. I highly recommend it as a third party machine, and I think like with the power of Game Pass, like it's an incredible value. So like,
and you know what? Like I think Series S is as well. If you are just someone who wants a console for your kid's bedroom, or maybe already has a main console, or even if this is just, you know, a secondary console, or it might just be that you have a 1080p TV and you don't play that many games, so you're not massively in need of 1 terabyte of storage. The Xbox Series S is a great pick, and it's considerably cheaper than the other consoles.
Yeah, I'm wary to suggest it just because of the storage limitations. Like I think it's a great value with that caveat. You know, that like you will run out of space quickly. So make sure you're prepared for that, and that works.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the things I wanted to bring up in the next like accessory section, is that storage is something that's always needed. So like on Switch, micro SD cards is pretty much a given. If you're going to buy a Switch, or you know someone's getting a Switch for Christmas, a micro SD card is something they're going to need.
I got one on sale, a new one that was like a steal. $20.
I need to get a new one. And then on Series X or Series S, or even on PS4. Actually, no, I don't think PS5 can. No, PS5 can play PS4 games from an external drive.
It can, yeah. There's just not expandable memory for actual PS5 games right now.
Yeah.
Which we don't have enough of anyway.
There's so few Xbox Series X games, and tons of backwards compatible ones. If you get even, say, an external SSD SATA drive, and you can get just a USB connector, you can play the games pretty much at full speed. Digital Foundry have proven that the internal SSD, or the little plug-in unit, when it comes to backwards compatible games, has zero effect on the loading times. So just play with an external SSD if you need space for your backwards compatible games, and then just keep the internal storage for Xbox Series X or Xbox Series S games.
Definitely. So then on the accessory side of things, I did want to just call out real quickly, and again, I'll pull these off and show them to the camera for the YouTube viewer. These are the 3D headphones that Sony put out with the PlayStation 5 that I've been wearing this episode. And I love these, love them. They are like my favorite pair of headphones that I own now. They're really comfortable. The padding on them is like, they're perfect for long sessions, and the 3D audio works great. It really, for certain games especially, it makes a huge difference. I actually forgot to call this out in the games I played this week. I played Tetris Effect this week for the first time.
Oh wow!
I totally forgot.
How did you find it?
Totally forgot to add that. I loved it, and I think the headphones were a big part of that. Was Sarah was upstairs doing something in her office, so I turned the lights off, playing with just the light of the TV, headphones on. I got goosebumps. I was like, "This is incredible! What an experience!" And like the headphones like really do bring a new dynamic to playing. You know, when you have like good 3D headphones and like. Like in Tetris Effect, it would be like when there was like a voice effect that was going across the speaker, like you can really hear it, or like when I'm playing Spider-Man and I can hear an enemy's behind me, and like things like that. It's really cool, and I think it's worth the investment. And I think for me, what I like about these is like they're expensive. They're about $100, like they're not cheap headphones, but the fact that they're nice and they're comfortable and that they work with every console I own and I can use them for podcasting. I'm using them as like my daily day-to-day headphones in a lot of situations because they work with anything that's Bluetooth wirelessly, but then they've also got a packaged in wire that if you need to hardwire it like I do for this microphone that I'm using here today, it works. So I highly recommend them. The Pulse 3D headset, I think is what it's called. Great pair of headphones for the price.
Yeah, I actually use my PS4 headset with my Xbox. It works great, has a microphone built in, and it is really, really nice. It doesn't work wirelessly, annoyingly. Xbox still doesn't support wireless headsets, but it is really nice.
So then we also wanted to touch on some controllers. I know that I think especially for like the Switch, there's a pretty big market for like alternative controllers. And there's two I wanted to call out. The 8BitDo line, I think, are great for retro gaming, and especially if you don't like the D-pad on the Pro Controller. You want something that's a little bit chunkier, a little bit, a little bit more substantive. I think 8BitDo makes a great controller, and I love the SN Pro 30. That's the one that I've got. It's kind of got like, a little bit of a larger shape, but it's got that real, like classic kind of button layout. I've got it in like the Game Boy design. Great little controller. And I think that's like my platformer controller when I'm on Switch,
Yeah, I used to use mine pretty much exclusively for Tetris because the Pro Controller's D-pad was absolutely shockingly bad.
Yeah.
And I could just so quickly play with the 8BitDo one.
And then I also wanted to call out the Power A GameCube controller. I know, Steve, you had mentioned on Twitter, I think, that you were looking for like a GameCube solution for Sunshine.
No, I actually want a GameCube controller to play Mario Party 5 on a GameCube.
Oh, okay.
And I cannot find a real GameCube. I'm probably going to invest in a couple of Wavebirds. They're expensive and they're going to need controllers, sticks replacing. But I think it's probably going to be worth it in time.
All right, fair enough. Well, if you want a GameCube controller on your Switch, I can't recommend the Power A GameCube controller enough. I really do like that. That's my go-to Smash controller, so I think that's another good one that like.
Does it have the analog triggers that work with Sunshine?
It doesn't, unfortunately, because it is basically just the guts of a Pro controller put inside a GameCube shell.
Right. Okay.
So it feels like a GameCube controller in every way but that, which sucks.
Because that's the one thing I'd want for Sunshine. Now they've patched support in, but you'd have to get that like Wii U, GameCube, the USB thing that has the 4 GameCube ports to play with your Switch. Then have like wires trailing everywhere. It would be a real hassle just to play Sunshine, so you could have some analog triggers.
I think it's worth it. Like I have that set up already, so it's like it's not hard. And like they do sell the remade GameCube controllers that they did on the Wii U.
Where? I cannot find them anywhere.
You gotta look. You gotta hunt.
If you can find me, if anyone listening can find me a link for a replica Nintendo GameCube controller in the UK, please send me a message on Discord or on Twitter. I really am looking for a couple of decent controllers. All the ones I found are shitty third-party ones, and I bought a couple of them over the years, and they are always bad. They're always like clones of the molds, and like buttons stick, or the triggers go really weird and crap. And I want like a proper Nintendo controller.
Let's see. I'm sure I can find one.
Yeah, Pete's looking now.
I'm on the case. I'm on the case. How much you want to spend?
While you're looking, then while you're looking for me, I would say the other thing I think we would both suggest is if you know someone's getting a new console, or even if they're not, if they're just a gamer anyway, get them a gift card for Christmas if you really can't think of anything else,
Yep.
or you know they've got everything else. eShop credit, PlayStation credit, Xbox credit, Steam credit, Xbox Live Gold, PS Plus, Game Pass Ultimate, all of that. It's stuff that people will use. It is gold, yeah. But it's stuff that people will use all the time, and it just saves them a bit of cash, and it's worth getting. Plus, it kind of forces them to treat themselves and buy a game, whereas necessarily they might not have previously. If they've got credit, they might look for something that they wouldn't have usually.
Definitely. So then let's just get some game recommendations, and then we'll do books, and then we'll end with game recommendations.
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause, 2 books that we wanted to call out. Of course, we always recommend Jason Schreier's Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. Fantastic book about how games are made. Always going on sale. It's available paperback and on Kindle. So highly recommend it. A book that both of us really love. And he's got a sequel coming out. So
Press Reset, I think it is. The collapse of the video game industry and how it was saved, which I'm really looking forward to reading in 2021.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. I've already got it pre-ordered. So check that out. And then you wanted to call out Bitmap Books. I've never heard of them before today, but you were telling me about this book they have called Game Boy The Box Art Collection, which is like a coffee table book of every Game Boy box art.
Yeah, so I love Bitmap Books. I would recommend if you're at all into video game books, have a look. There's been a couple I've had my eyes on. Arkane was one of them, which is similar to this Game Boy book, but it's like the kind of marquees that they have. So it's this section in the top of if you can see on the video, the top of my arcade cabinet, there is a book that they have called Arcade of all of the like really cool marquees that they had. I've also got the Art of Point and Click Adventure Games, which is a fantastic book. There's not any new stock coming until April 21, but the Game Boy, the box art collection, is available for pre-order now. And it's out on December 14th. This one is firmly on my Christmas list. And it's just a love of Game Boy artwork and Game Boy games.
Definitely buying this.
The
gold edition's already sold out, and I'm so upset.
I know, yeah, it looks so cool, doesn't it? But the silver edition might be the one I go for. If not the hardback coverage itself. It looks nice enough, and it's just a labor of love of box art and of the games themselves, and it's got like little screen grabs of the games themselves. It looks like a fantastic book, and if you're a Game Boy fan, then this is a great Christmas gift for any Game Boy fan in your life. I
think the reason I want the silver one is because I like that it comes with a cover, like a box.
Yeah. Plus, there's only 1,500 copies, so they're never gonna do it again.
Yeah, which is cool, but I don't know. I might just get the regular one. I'm definitely getting this though. This is sick. I'm such a
have a look through their other books. There's a bunch in there that you might be interested in. There's like an SNES and NES one as well.
Ooh.
A Sega Master System one.
Whatever, I don't care about that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check this out. That's a great. I would love if anybody looking for a gift for me. I would love this. So, I don't know. Do they ship to the U.S.? That's gonna be my next problem.
They do. Yeah, there's a big banner at the top that says worldwide track shipping available.
There you go. Look at that. I closed that out.
God knows how much that's going to cost, but if it's too expensive and you do want to buy it, just ship it to my house and I'll send it to you.
Perfect. Then you can spend all the money to ship it to me.
Yeah, I'm like your black market trader. Remember when you got the the Link's Awakening package come through? You had like 3 of them come to you.
Yeah. the black market. All right, so let's hop into games that we want to recommend here. So I think we're going to try to focus on like top games of the console and then also games of 2020. Of course, we call out all the sales that are available right now. If you're listening to this on Monday, they should still be rolling. At the very least today, it being Cyber Monday. But a lot of them are going into December before we get into like the holiday sales that come up. So now's a great time to buy if you are in the market for any of those games, particularly for some of the games that came out earlier in the year, that are like marked down heavily right now. So for top games of the console, we are kind of coming to the end of a generation here, but the nice thing about these new consoles, or if you're stuck playing one of the old ones, is that like there is such this deep library, and there are a lot that are like an amazing value right now. Like I've seen most of the the PlayStation like greatest hits collections with the little red bar that are always marked down. They're like
remember those? Remember Nintendo Selects?
Yeah,
they
right?
were great.
They're like $10 right now. Like you can get God of War for like $10. You can get
all the Uncharted games.
$10. You can get the Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition with all the DLC for $10. I think any of those games, any of the like legacy titles, from either Sony or Nintendo that you can get on sale, you should get if you haven't played. Period. They're almost all bangers. And, like, if you haven't touched a game like a God of War or Horizon or something like that, or, like, Last of Us, I've seen marked down to, like, $30. Ghost of Tsushima was $40. Couldn't recommend any of those games more highly. They're fantastic. Some of them are, like, real cream of the crop stuff. And Nintendo games never go on sale. So if there's a game that you're, like, again, like, if you snapped up that Luigi's Mansion deal, like, good on you, because I wish I could have. And, like we called out, there are a few really good ones. Like Link's Awakening is a game I'd highly recommend. And for $40, that's a great price.
I still haven't finished that.
Shame. Absolute shame. I beat it when I was coming out of the womb. So, I can't believe you couldn't manage that. But whatever. In terms of the games of 2020, like what do you, I don't know, like what's the stuff that you're calling out?
Man, it's tough. For me, a lot of them are like indie titles that I've really enjoyed this year.
Like what?
Which, would require you to get like credit. Like Carrion, for example, or
I still gotta try that on Xbox.
Carrion's great. I mean, Spiritfarer was another one I thoroughly enjoyed. Obviously, my game of the year is Animal Crossing. I've made no secret about that. Last of Us 2 was fantastic. But really, I would say 2020 for me has been kind of a dry year, if I'm honest.
You don't play on PlayStation. PlayStation's had all the games.
Yeah, well, I mean, I played The Last of Us 2 on PlayStation. It was like the first time I booted it up in over a year. I had to like blow the dust off the thing and plug the controller in because it dies in like a second.
Why won't everyone should play Ghost? Ghost is so good.
Maybe that would be my go-to game when I get a PS5.
Maybe. I've been thinking about replaying it because it's like...
we've got our bets on the go, and if that's the game you want me to play if you win the bet, then so be it. I'll have to get it on PS4.
We'll see. We'll see what I decide.
It better not
I want to play it on PS5, though.
That's not happening.
Oh, Persona 5? Yeah, that's going to be the one. Somewhere Zayd just did a backflip.
Yeah. I would also say, though, like a huge... Like, there's a huge library on both of these consoles. You've got the PS Plus collection, you've got Game Pass. Take advantage of those if you can. Buy yourself a month or a couple of months of those services, and you've got access to a huge library of games. Especially if you've never had those consoles before. Like DJ came to PS5 having missed an entire generation. He's got a huge.
That's such an incredible deal. Like, I remember when they first announced that, there was a lot of kind of like, whatever. Like, I've played all these games before, but it's like, imagine if you haven't. If you just missed the PS4 and you pick this up, and it's like, oh, cool. Like, almost every game that I'd want to have played on the PS4 is here in better condition for free. And the ones that aren't are all like $10, like,
yeah,
like Horizon's not on it for some reason, but you can get the complete Horizon collection for $10. So like, not bad. So yeah, I would gravitate towards stuff like that. Like if there are standout games like that you missed that you can snap up for $10 here and there, like I don't know,
That's
man.
the kind of stuff that seems to be what I do every Christmas period.
Yeah.
You know, I go to my parents, which probably will be different this year just due to circumstances, but it's the only time I really have 2 weeks off in one go
Sure.
in a whole year. And so I just spend that time catching up with friends and family, but also spending a lot of time playing games. And it's nice. It really is nice.
Yeah, it's the perfect time of year to do that too. And like just like catch up on stuff you missed in like kind of the lull between December
Yeah.
and January. Not that there's much of one this year because you'll have Cyberpunk and what's it called, Gods and Monsters, whatever that became.
Oh, Immortal. No,
Immortal.
Phoenix
Yeah.
Rising. Yeah.
They'll have both of those to keep you busy in December. So definitely 2020 is going out with a bang. So I would say both of those are games to put on your list too. If you want to get them something, something shiny and new, both of those games I think are going to be looking real hot.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it depends on the player as well, because there's Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs as well, which are two shiny new games which just came out. I know Assassin's Creed's had like mixed reviews. Some people are really raving about it and really enjoy it, but I think maybe traditional Assassin's Creed fans don't really like it as much as previous entries in the series.
What are you going to do? Some people want it to evolve. Some people want it to stay the same. I don't know. I like want to be interested in that game, but I think I'm also just like it's safer for me to just be like, nah, I don't care. The price tag's too much.
Like Origins and Odyssey are both on sale for like 10 quid at the moment in the UK.
Yeah.
They must be on sale in the US as well. If you haven't played those two, they are great games. Odyssey especially because you can play as Cassandra and she's a fucking badass. And I made her she just like goes around and I just had her sleep with anyone, male or female, who cares? She's your girl.
She's pan. She's down to party. Yeah, I don't know. Part of me wants to, but I'm just like, maybe I'm just done with Assassin's Creed. I've been done with it for so long. It's like do I really need to go back? Do they need to?
I tried going back to Odyssey. And it was that same situation as with Horizon, where I just couldn't remember what I was doing, where I was, or I didn't remember what the controls were.
Sure.
I was just like, no, if I'm going to play this, I need to start again. And then I'm like, well, if I'm going to start again, why don't I just buy myself Valhalla?
Yeah.
Which I haven't done, and I'm refusing to because it's a ridiculous thing to do.
Especially when the games are $70. It's like, I'm not going to just roll the dice on something like that,
Isn't that the problem? Like that price tag really makes you think. Like when it was 50, it's like, oh, okay. But 70 somehow it's like that mental, ooh, that's a big hit.
You're getting up there.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know about that. Wait for it to go on sale and then buy it and never play it, Anyway, the holidays are coming. There's a lot of games worth picking up. A lot of games to catch up on if you've missed, and I don't think there's ever been a better time to catch up on old stuff right now. You've got these great new consoles that make old games shine. If you're
nowhere to go,
you're stuck inside, and if you weren't able to get your hands on one of the new consoles, you're going to be looking for stuff to play anyway. So there's this great library that you can get that'll be cheap, that'll come forward with you. So I think never been a better time to buy.
PS3 era, it was always like, oh, do I buy the PS3 version of The Last of Us, even though I know there's going to be a remaster coming out on PS4 very, very quickly after.
Don't have to worry about it anymore.
Don't have to worry about it because it's just going to play the best on the new console.
Yep. Love it. So keep your eyes peeled for all that stuff. I hope you guys get something special under your Christmas tree, sitting in your stocking, under your menorah, under your non-denominational table where you put presents, however you're exchanging gifts this holiday season. I hope that you get what you're hoping for. I hope you have a good one, and I hope you'll join us next week for another episode of the PotsCast. So let me just give us our plugs real quick here. Of course, head over to patreon.com/LootPots, where for just $1 you'll be able to hear our conversation keep rolling, where we're going to talk about my Thanksgiving experience, some more of our Black Friday stories. It's going to be a good one. So I hope you'll come join us over there for just $1. You'll help us keep the show running, and you'll get a little bit of extra podcast in your feed. So great way to do so. And if you want to be a part of the show, just like all these fine folks did in our Mail Pot segment, remember you can write into me at lootpots.com. Come join the Discord. Follow at lootpots on Twitter, and get in our weekly question thread. And, go check out the rest of our content. We're streaming on Twitch on most Thursdays. We did take a short break for the holidays and to prep for episode 100 because we had a couple big weeks here. But we'll be back with our regularly scheduled stream, I would imagine, this Thursday. So I hope you'll come join us over there. Of course, head over to the new PotsCast YouTube channel. Give us a subscribe. Give us a like on the videos. Even if you don't intend to watch them over there, it really does help trying to get on more people's radar. So I hope you'll check us out and lend us your support over there as well. So with that, I've been Pete. He's been Steve. We'll catch you next week for another episode of the PotsCast.